What is up, ladies and gentlemen, and beautiful people of the Crasher community? How are you guys doing today? Welcome back to my channel for another video. Thank you guys very much for tuning on in, and in today's video, oh boy, do we have something pretty damn spicy to talk about. So let's get into this. So what we have here is the following. Pokemon Community split on Gen VGC team bans during World Championship. The Pokemon Community is split on whether or not Gen Pokemon teams should be banned from competitions, which was sparked by the 2023 World Championships. The 2023 Pokemon World Championships began on August 11th, 2023, where trainers from all around have been competing for top spots in games like Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, Pokemon Go, and more. However, one player sparked controversy during the Day 1 VGC competition after they were disqualified for using multiple gen or modified Pokemon on their team. Since the disqualifications, Pokemon fans on social media have started to debate whether or not modified teams should be allowed to compete in official tournaments, with compelling reasons for and against the rules. For a bit more context, Pokemon player Brady Smith was DQ'd at 2-0 during Day 1 of the VGC competition after judges learned that members of his team were modified or genned. According to Smith, he wanted to use Landorus and Urshifu on his team, but since he didn't have the games necessary to legitimately get them in Scarlet and Violet, Legends Arceus, and Sword and Shield, respectively, he instead traded for them. Those traded Pokemon were modified. Now, fans from all corners of the internet are weighing in on the decision to ban, with many split on how this issue should be handled moving forward. Some fans thought it was prohibitive to lock some of the best competitive Pokemon in Gen 9 behind separate games, like Legends Arceus and Sword and Shield. I feel bad for those who got disqualified, especially since the meta revolves around using Pokemon that you can only obtain from Legends of Arceus and Sword and Shield plus DLC, said one fan. Others argued that the amount of effort required to legitimately make the most competitively viable Pokemon through things like EV training and item grinding is unnecessary to simply compete. I honestly think Pokemon would be much more enjoyable and accessible if everyone could use an in-game feature to generate any Pokemon to use in official competitions, stats, moves, etc., said Pokemon content creator Patters. However, many fans and competitive players pushed back on these points, with many citing that the official rules make it clear not to use illegally modified Pokemon. There is nothing unfair about being punished for not following the rules, said TCG player James Arnold. While the debate surrounding genned Pokemon is only getting started, it seems doubtful TPCI will change its stance on the issue going forward, regardless of the validity of the points made. Oh boy, yes, this right here has been a very, very debated topic for a very, very long time, and it is kicked up in one of the biggest ways possible as of late. And let me tell you something, the community discourse, I don't think I have ever seen something this crazy aside from community discourse in Pokemon Go. Like, it is that bad. Now, for those of you guys that have known me for a long time, you guys already know my thoughts on the matter, but for those that don't, well, let me introduce you guys to somewhat of a hot take that I have on this. To make a long story short, it's not the Pokemon that wins the players the battles. It is the players themselves that win the battles. The experience, the skill, the knowledge on the meta, and things like that. That right there is what will carry you through to the very end of the tournament. Now, with that said, yes, the Pokemon are important, but imagine this, okay? Imagine Pokemon being like chess pieces, okay? And you are a chess player. You are going to a tournament to play chess with fellow competitors. Now, are you suddenly a cheater because you decide to bring your own handcrafted chess pieces? Does it give you an advantage? No. What gives an advantage, definitively speaking, and I will go out on the shield by saying this, is what is up in here. The knowledge, the skill, and the determination. Now, with all that being said, cheating is wrong. That is something that I 100% agree with and stand by, okay? But what exactly is a cheated Pokemon exactly? Is it a Pokemon that has legally obtainable stats and attributes in the game? No. It would be the complete opposite. So say, as an example, you bring in a Scizor to the tournament, okay? And it has the ability known as Flash Fire. That Pokemon cannot legally obtain that ability in the game. So yes, that right there would be cheating. It is unfortunate that this has happened to a lot of players that spent all of the time, money, and preparation just to go to the big stage, to go to Japan for the VGC tournaments, only to be ousted, essentially, because of genned Pokemon. Now, let me also say this, and this is something that I've been saying for a very, very, very long time, but for those that are new here, allow me to introduce you to another take, that being the fact that even though I couldn't care less if you genned your Pokemon, okay? I truly don't give a shit about that, but you are putting yourself at risk if you are going to a tournament bringing knowingly genned Pokemon. If you know in your mind that the Pokemon are genned, you yourself are taking that risk, and you gotta wear it through and through. Now, if you're using Pokemon that you don't know are genned, well then, how is it your fault? You see, this is something that I really, really don't like about the rules, is that they try to make it so that you are responsible for all of the Pokemon that you bring to the tournament. Now, on paper, you're probably thinking, well, wait a second, that sounds reasonable. What's your issue with that? Well, allow me to go further into this. So say if you are a player that is completely innocent, completely clean, and legit, and you decided you wanted to, you know, try your hand at some surprise trades, and you happen to get a Pokemon that you really, really fancy. But little do you know, that Pokemon is actually genned in some way. But you don't know that because you don't have a legal way to reverse look up and reverse engineer that Pokemon to see the legitimacy and authenticity of that Pokemon. And say if that Pokemon right there was a Pokemon that you brought to VGC, but all of a sudden you get banned because that Pokemon was genned. I mean, is it really the fault of the player, or is it the fault of the system? But on the note of fault, when it comes to the hacking and cheating problem in Pokemon as a whole, the fault, a lot of it rests on those that develop tools to enable people to gen Pokemon. And an example of said hacking tool would be PK Hex. Here's looking at you, Cathodix. I've already called your motives into question before, and yet you failed to answer me one-on-one. But let me just say this, okay? What are really your motives here when you choose to update PK Hex every single generation, and yet when people are supposedly caught with genned Pokemon from your product, by the way, you somehow act all high and mighty and have morals all of a sudden. Like, you can't have your cake and eat it too, dog. It don't work that way. Like, Pokemon in 2023 has definitely had some turbulent times, and this shit right here further adds to it. And I'm gonna say this in general, okay? And this isn't me trying to be a hater. This isn't me trying to punch down, or I guess in this case, punch up when it comes to Pokemon. But Pokemon and all of the people that are running these tournaments and making the games, all of everything that encapsulates Pokemon, all of you need to do better, and you need to start treating your fans a lot better than this shit. I get being accountable. I am 100% for that. But sometimes there are things that happen that are either beyond the control and the knowledge of someone, or something that, in my honest opinion, is a nothing burger. It's not a big deal whatsoever. Now, with all of that being said, these right here are just my own opinions, and I understand that this topic here is very, very nuclear, very hot, very nuanced, so I know that those that are watching this video, some of them are going to come in with different takes and opinions, and as long as you guys leave out the insults and you leave in nothing but 100% peace and respect, hey, I am all for discussing and debating, because hey, I take that as an opportunity to perhaps maybe learn a new point of view, learn a new perspective. I'm thinking, okay, wait a second now, I actually never thought about it that way until this person just pointed out. That is fucking cool shit. You know what I'm saying? So, With that being said, that right there is just my own takeaway on this situation. What are your thoughts on this? And that's it for the video, ladies and gentlemen. I want to say thank you guys very much for watching. Thank you for your time as well in viewing this video. Have yourself a damn good one, you beautiful people. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and I'll see you guys next time.